Hello, people. Um, I want to talk about my daughter, Mariah. Um, I'm sure some of you watch my videos or not. I mean, it takes a lot to get your videos out there, talk about different things. Some people want to talk about what's going on in the world with the pathetic loser that's in the White House. But I'm here to talk about my daughter, Mariah, and how important she was to our family. Me and my husband had a daughter named Mariah. She was beautiful. She was amazing. She had a heart of gold. She was very creative and funny, and at times she could be a smartass. Um, and she graduated high school in 2023. She passed away in 2024 from Ewing sarcoma cancer on August 12th. You know, last year. Um, when she was sick, she got her high school diploma. She worked very hard, while being in the hospital, went through chemo and radiation and X-rays, MRIs, different things, and um, she she was a fighter through it all, and up until almost 2 years ago, it doesn't seem like it's been 2 years. Almost. I mean, it seems like yesterday. She was just here, and now she's gone. And during the time that she was sick, my mom gave her an idea of like writing down her feelings because a few days after her 17th birthday, she found out she had Ewing sarcoma cancer. Not a very good birthday present. You know, it would have been a lot better if it was something else, you know, that she wasn't sick. Like, she's turning 17, like, she's going to be graduating high school and she's going to get to go to college and do different things in life. Someday get married, someday have kids. That was all taken from her. She was our strength, you know. So that's what my husband says. She was our strength. And she held us all together, me and my husband and our son Steven and our younger son Tyler and our youngest daughter Megan. She brought so much laughter into this house. It was like she was a glue. When you lose a child, it's just, I don't wish that on anybody. You don't want to be in that group. You don't. And those of us that are part of it, they know what I'm talking about. It doesn't matter what age your child is, it still fucking hurts. Excuse my language, but it does. It's a hard thing. Hard thing to go through every day, knowing that your baby's not there. And whether they're babies, whether it's just, toddlers, elementary school age, middle school, high school, college, even, when they get older, like I said, it still hurts. And there's a lot of us that have lost our kids in different ways, like through illnesses and through tragedies. And Mariah was all about helping people. She loved helping people. But there were times in school she got made fun of because of the way she walked, the way she talked. Some girls were like, she had two friends, and there was this boy that was in the middle. This boy dumped one of her other friends to go with her other friend, and she couldn't stop being friends with either one of them. But the one that got dumped, she threatened Mariah, sent her a text message saying she wanted to kill her. This was in middle school. This was 8th grade year. When our daughter Mariah should have been celebrating she was going to graduate from middle school, you know? When she hit high school, girls were even meaner. And they said, well, you don't look Spanish. You're white. And she said, I'm multicultural, stupid. And there's a lot of us that are multicultural and we look like a certain color and people assume, oh my gosh, you're just fully white, right? White is a culture. No, it's not. It's a shade of color. Black, brown, and white are different shades. And our older son, Steven, mentioned that to me. He's like, Mom, we're different shades of color. And I was like, you're right. That has nothing to do with somebody's culture. There's so many misconceptions about who people are because of what color their skin is. And these girls were so mean to our daughter. And they were so mean to a point where, you know, when COVID happened and kids were at school, and then they had to go stay at home. It happened for like 2 years, I think it was. Mariah didn't want to go back to school in person because these girls would make fun of her and tease her and hate on her. So we let her stay home. The following year, we found out she had Ewing sarcoma cancer, and it was her dream to graduate high school. She wanted to graduate so bad. Me and my husband didn't let her stop doing that. You know, we told her, you know, this is something you want to do. You want to graduate, something you want to be proud of. And she graduated in 2023. She went to her graduation, which was horrible. You know, it was loud. And Mariah went from being able to walk to walking on her tippy toes. She went from 170 pounds to 123 pounds. From October 22 to, you know, she was like 123 pounds in 2022. Following the year before that, she was 170 pounds. So within like 4 months, she lost so much weight. And we thought it was because of stress with school. And she was on this school program called Ingenuity, and I don't know if other states do this, but that's what they were doing, and you had to get 100% every time on your work, and that's frustrating for kids and stressful. So we thought she was losing weight because of that. But April 29th of 2022, I went in the ambulance with her. My husband stayed home with our other kids, and we were in the hospital, went to Presbyterian. I'm sorry, but I don't like Presbyterian. I don't, because they didn't know what they were doing. Their nurses were rude. The oncologist doctor for pediatrics just came out of retirement. He was a jerk, and then he went back to retirement. I wonder why. There's a lot of other reasons why I don't like Presbyterian. But anyways, I went there, stayed there for a few days, had her transferred to UNM pediatrics specialties, and those nurses there are amazing. They were good to her. They were good to me and my husband, you know, our other kids, and they helped out a lot. Mariah had her book published last year. She knew it was going to be published before she passed away in 2024, but We promised her that it would get done, and it did get done. And through Make a Wish and City Book Publishing, and she had this person who edited her book, and her name was Monica. Amazing person. Um, I don't know who's gonna like listen to this. You know, they'll probably pass me by and be like, "Why do we have to listen to her?" Um, if Mariah was here and she saw all the chaos that's going on right now, she'd be very angry. And she'd be like, "Mom, Dad, why are people so hateful? You know, killing innocent people, you know, deporting them for no reason, or, you know, killing them for no reason. Why is our country so pathetic, Mom?" And then they take the cancer fund away. And some of you think that they didn't. Why are people always asking for donations if there's enough funding? Who's getting most of the funding? Those rich assholes, right? I mean, she would be suffering just like the other kids are. I want people to go to the hospital and see those kids. No matter what illness they have, how they're sitting in those beds, can't walk, can't see, can't do things on their own. They throw up at times, they're in pain. Their bodies get so stiff. They end up in wheelchairs, even bedridden. That's what happened to Mariah. She went from walking on her tippy toes to barely walking with a walker to being in a wheelchair. To finally being bedridden. And doctors pushed her and pushed her to be with hospice pediatrics, and it's like she didn't want to. She was on a chemo medicine called etoposide, and she didn't even get a chance to take that because they kept pushing her and pushing her and pushing her. And it's like they said, you know, you try for a couple weeks and then you don't have to do it anymore. Well, that's not what happened. She was basically forced to still be on pediatrics hospice, and she lost a lot of weight. She stopped eating. She stopped drinking. And I know some people are going to be like, why are you talking about this? Because you need to know what the hell these kids go through. With Ewing sarcoma cancer, it affects your bones and your tissue. She had a mass on the side of her right hip. She couldn't feel to go to the bathroom. She had to have a catheter. She had a double port in right side of her chest, which is still with her, you know. I have not been able to be myself. Our youngest daughter has a room now, and Mariah did give it to her. She's like, Mom, I want her to have my room. Maiden can have my room, my dolls, everything. But, you know, figures I have, my brothers are just going to have to figure that one out. Because she had like wrestling figures, she had like Transformers. I mean, she was into LOL dolls, Shadow High, Monster High. Monster High was her big thing. I look back at her pictures and it's like, I wish she was still here. I look at her baby pictures and I look at the last pictures of her. She suffered before she died. She didn't have a comfortable death like they said. She was going to be comfortable. No. What's weird is, okay, she was on gabapentin. She was on oxybutyrin. She had Benadryl at times. She had ketamine the last week or so of her life. She had about 6 times. And she also had Versed and hydromorphone, which went through to her port, her double port. So she was getting that medicine so she can press the buttons on the handle things. I put CBD THC oil that was made by a family member, and it helped her so much with the pain. And I know some people are against that, but I don't care. It's been around for centuries. Look it up. It's from Asia. Hello. I'm sure Asians know. They probably have so much of it. But that's where it originated from. And I thank them for that. I mean, yes, I do it myself. There's family members. There's friends that I know of. And there's people that are against it. I really don't care. Because we use it for pain, anxiety, to help eat. Because there's people that have stomach problems. And for their mental health. It does help. But when it's laced, that's when you have a problem. That's when you have to start worrying. And then some people are like, wow, all of a sudden my kid was smoking this, and my family member started smoking marijuana and he committed suicide. It doesn't make you commit suicide. It doesn't. It's your mentality. It's probably something that these people went through. But to blame it on that, do your research before you start judging. And I know when some people see this, they'll agree with me. I looked it up. I was like, where did marijuana originate from? Where did weed, the green, pot, whatever you want to call it, where did it come from? How did they use it? They used it for medicinal purposes in ancient times. And people still use it today. And then some people get arrested because they have it in their pocket. Okay, I would rather have somebody with a bag of weed in their car than somebody who has cocaine or meth or crack, heroin. But then people get arrested for that. They need to go to freaking rehab. Okay, that's the problem with our country. They need to have more rehab facilities for people that do drugs and that drink. And then that people that steal, why are they stealing? There's got to be a reason why they're stealing. Monkey see, monkey do, because probably what they see other people do. Or people force them to do it. But I've heard enough about people, some people complaining about marijuana, saying, oh, it's addictive, it can harm you. Well, you know what? There's pills, medications, over-the-counter stuff that people can overdose on. Pills that people rely on. Because once they start those medications, they start, relying on it, right? I would rather have somebody smoking marijuana than to have them have an overdose on pills. I mean, it takes a lot for you to overdose on marijuana, a lot. And there's different stages too. If you go to dispensaries, there's different percentages. And some people are like, oh my gosh, they do this, they do that. It's too strong. Excuse me, but if you start at 15%, which they probably do have, which I have tried years ago, it's a low dose. Those dispensaries are pretty cool though. You go in there and you see the chocolates and they tell you how much to eat. They don't tell you to eat the whole bar, little pieces, you know? And then the oils, they help with pain. Even smoking, it helps with pain. That's what Mariah did. She did the oils, she did the gummies, edibles. But those meds that she was on, it took her. And I didn't realize how strong ketamine was, until I saw a video about um, that actor from Friends. I can't remember his name. I could be wrong, but he played a Chandler. It was sad what happened to him. But Mariah was on it about 5 times, and to hear that actually, I have to cover this window because it's so freaking bright. Anyways, we didn't know anything about ketamine. They just said it was for pain, it will help her. But to be on Versed, generic brand, which the name is banned in the United States. So they changed it, It's okay to use a generic brand, even though it's a sedative drug. Yeah, our daughter suffered. I remember waking up at 6 o'clock in the morning. Before that, I was holding her hand at 4 o'clock in the morning. I said, I love you, Mariah. I love you. She said, I love you, Mom. I woke up at 6. Her blanket was rolled into a ball on the right side of her. She had her oxygen off because she was on oxygen. I thought that was weird, Like, why would she roll her blanket into a ball? I don't know if anybody's ever had this happen to them, but she had ketamine the night before. And the nurse gave it to her when she came to our home. Well, I covered her up and I kissed her, and she seemed like she was sleeping. She was fine. And something was making me want to wake up at 8 o'clock in the morning because I told my husband I'm going to go put some oil on her, because I always did that. I put the CBD THC oil on her. On her legs, on her arms, where she had pain. And the blanket again was rolled into the ball on the right side of her. I wish I had pictures of that. And her oxygen was off, and she looked comatose. Like, her eyes were open, and she had tears coming down her cheek. She had a black dot. The right side of her eye is a little black dot above her pupil. She had her oxygen off, and I tried putting it back on. And I was like, Mariah, come on, wake up. I was shaking her. Shook and shook and shook. And my husband just pulled me away and told me to call 911. And I called 911, and they were asking me, is she breathing, blah, blah, blah. When they came, my mom and my sisters came. My sister-in-law came. She had this tear coming down her cheek. And these medics, they put her on the floor. And they used this stupid plastic fucking machine. Excuse my language, but they used it to pump her heart. And I said, she's on ketamine. She had ketamine the night before. Her heart is fine. I can hear it. Her heartbeat was beating normal. But before that, her heart rate was beating fast for a couple of days. I tried giving her mouth to mouth, and I felt the breath coming out of her. I still heard her heartbeat. Our younger kids were taken back into our room. It's like all you feel is shock and anger. And you feel like your heart has been ripped out of you. Like part of your soul and your body is just gone. When they said that she was gone, I didn't believe it. I couldn't believe she was gone. My husband's old star was gone. You know, I've seen so many stories where people lose their loved ones, and then some people just like scroll on by like they don't care. I wish I could bring her back. I wish that we could still talk and laugh. I miss fighting with her. Me and her have fights at times, and we'd be like, what were we fighting about? And she would tell me, Mom, I'm sorry for what I said. And I said, I don't remember what she said. She's like, I don't remember either. And then we'd watch a movie. We did that a lot at the hospital. Or watch Mike and Molly with Melissa McCarthy. You know, she always said, Mom, you remind me so much of her. And I was like, why? I wish I was her. I mean, I love her acting. I love her movies. I love the show Mike and Molly. I saw her on Gilmore Girls years ago. I mean, that's how I became a fan. We watched the Golden Girls. In fact, the last thing that Mariah watched was the Golden Girls, and I can't get myself to watch it because if I watch that episode that she watched all the way and be like, I don't know, taking part of her away. You know, it really does change people. I'm not as happy as I used to be. I don't smile like I used to. I told my husband, you know, part of me's gone. If there was a way to mend the pain I feel, I would do it. But there's not. They say it gets easier as time goes by. No, it doesn't. And one of the things that some people have said, oh, she's in a better place. I think that's very rude to tell somebody, to be honest. And I don't think she's in a better place because she was in a better place when she was here. When she was with me and my husband and our 3 other kids, who all loved her so much. That painting behind me is one that she painted. This is like in memory of her. You know, her stuff behind here. I have her book she wrote. And Make-A-Wish got published. It's this one. And our son Steven, illustrated by Stephen Archbeck, written by Mariah Archbeck. It's online worldwide. Is on Amazon, Walmart, eBay, Barnes and Noble, etc. I've even seen it like on stores that are from like different countries. And their prices are different. But on eBay, I don't know why they're selling it for 30, $40. Seriously, it's actually $20. I'm selling it for $20 on eBay. If anybody wants to buy one. But like I said, it's online. And, you know, if Walmart and Amazon are making money off of her book, they better give us some sharing because we own 100% of the copyright on this book. Make-A-Wish made sure of that. That nobody can copyright, Mariah's book. And she wrote it so other people who feel alone, they wouldn't feel that way. They would know, hey, this person went through so much, she was like, wow, it's a mystery, her book. And it's like in medieval to now. The character on the book is Carl Anika Medianoche. She's also called Lady Midnight. I don't know how Mariah got that name, but there's pictures of Mariah in the book. This one is actually our younger son Tyler's book, and kind of got used a little bit, but that's her. When she graduated, I took that picture of her myself. There's acknowledgement, dedication. We also added, some pages to get left. She loved butterflies. She loved roses. It's okay to be different because our differences are what make us who we are. She was an amazing person, This is about her. She wrote, "Hello, my name is Mariah Trebek, and I have been writing my own stories for as long as I can remember. This book is the only one I dreamed about getting published, mainly because some of them are unfinished or scrapped. I was inspired to write the story, particularly based on my life. Growing up, I was picked on, and I had no idea how to deal with it. But that was until people told me that I am a strong, independent young woman. I am 19 years old, and this story holds a special place in my heart. One of the quotes I came up with that reminds me of this story is, you can't change a butterfly into something ugly. In other words, you shouldn't be something you are not. The story reminds me of one of the main characters in this book, which would be none other than Kia Lansky. In conclusion, the story is something I am very proud of writing and one that I admire." I have read this book, so if you want to look at, The End of the Rose by Mariah Trebek, there's videos of me reading this book. I read it up to the 8th chapter, and it's an amazing book. I mean, people should go out and read it. I mean, there have been people that we know that have bought it and said, wow, she wrote that. Like, she was 19, like, how did she come up with this story? Also, there's a picture in here that our older son, Steven, did. He did the cover. He also did this. That's actually Carl Anika Medianoche. Something happens to her tragically, and then some weird stuff happens. Like, you'd be like, wow, what's going on? And there's some sarcasticness in it. But she inspired a lot of people, to She wanted to do that. And she wanted other kids to read it too. You know, like if they're in the hospital and they're sick too, you know, because there's a couple of her books at UNM Pediatrics Hospital. I don't know if they've been sold yet or not, but anyways, you know, this month has been really hard because not only was she diagnosed May 6th of Ewing sarcoma cancer, her birthday was May 2nd. She would have been 21 years old. And now she's forever 19. You know, it would have been a lot easier if she said, Mom, Dad, I'm going to have a kid. At 17, you know, it would have been a lot easier to handle. And, you know, instead of, by the way, we don't know if your kid's going to live or die or not. She just got diagnosed with Ewing sarcoma cancer. That cancer does not get talked about a lot, and it should be. People talk about leukemia and these other cancers, but do they talk about Ewing sarcoma cancer? No. 10 people a day are diagnosed. There's young people all over the world that have it. And it's just sad that once somebody gets it, it's like there's no hope. You either get your limbs cut off or, you know, there's nothing they can do about it. Mariah's oncology pediatrics doctor said there's not enough funding in pediatrics. There's only 1%. That's all we get is 1%. That's why there's no cure. So every time you go into the hospital and you think, oh, wow, there's going to be a cure today. No, there's not. That's why they need funding. That's why they need help. There are people with illnesses out there that need help. Whatever illness it is. Dementia, Parkinson's, AIDS, HIV, I mean, cancers, lupus, chronic fatigue syndrome, also called ME. I had a cousin that had chronic fatigue syndrome, and she passed away a year before Mariah did. And then our niece Beatrice, she passed away a year before she did. Not even a year. So it was in October of 2023. 22. Yeah, 2022. Yeah. How many more do we have to lose before there's actually a cure for anything? It's pretty sad, you know, some people just don't care. Like I said, and they're like, wow, you're doing this video and it's fake and blah, blah, blah. No, it's not. That's the picture of our daughter right up there. That's one of those type of little cards you get when your child or loved one, you know, your loved one dies. You get one of those at their funeral. Mariah wasn't spiritual. I mean, she was more spiritual. Yeah, she was. But she wasn't religious. She wasn't judgmental. I wish she was here. One of the things that keeps me going is doing school. You know, I'm doing art school online through the Academy of Art University. And I finished my whole year. I passed the fall classes and I passed the spring classes. So that's 1 year down. And then I'm going to go in the fall and then in the spring. I'm going to keep going. until I graduate. And once I get that diploma in my hands, I'm going to be like, I'm going to be really happy. My husband helps with it. It's expensive, Financially, it only pays for so much. They didn't pay for like supplies or anything. Supplies are expensive. My husband's done that. We barely have any money, And it pisses me off that orange buffoon is taking funding away. It's like, why? Now you want to take funding away from states that don't approve of you, that don't like you? They don't like you for good reasons. You're sick, twisted jerk. And anybody that supports him, that voted for him, and you're complaining about gas prices, you get what you voted for. We didn't vote for his ass. You did. And those that didn't vote for him, you're smart. Because you know the truth. And keep protesting. And keep doing it. Here's an idea. Go to Washington, D.C. Bunch of people, right? Have the drag queens and everybody. And start singing. Like, get together and start singing really, 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 really loud. And then have signs that says, Kamala Harris is our real president. We all know. We're the smart ones, right? Every day we have to wonder, are our kids going to be safe? Are our family members going to be safe? Are our friends going to be safe? I saw what happened in Minnesota. And for people to call Renee Nicole Good a terrorist, that's pretty messed up. And if I'm saying her name wrong, I'm sorry. She was not a terrorist. And neither was Alex Preddy. He was just trying to help this woman with ice. And they shot him. Took, 2 or 3 of them to shoot him? And then a supposed ice guy got ran over by Renee Nicole Good's SUV, which was a lie. And then they attack people even more in Minnesota. It's like, really? How about this, Minnesota? Don't allow ICE into your state. Because in our state, they're not even allowed. We're not even funding their asses.
Hi, guys.
And that's our younger son, Tyler.
Hi. This is my mom. This is my mother.
Why do you look so much like me?
I don't know. Guys, please subscribe to mine and my mom's channel. We work very hard on both our channels.
He's being funny.
Yes, and being serious. We do work very hard making our channels. So just hit the like and subscribe.
Yep. See, these are what it's about.
Yep. And that's
we need more funding for our kids.
Yes.
And that's Maiden.
Yes.
She has therapies in school.
Yes.
He needs extra help in school.
Yes.
And you're going to take the money away from him.
Yes.
That's
please like and subscribe.
Subscribe, please. And any of you for Trumpkin, you need your brains. Not very nice.
Chicken wing. It's chicken.
Not very nice of what he just did. Okay. Well, I'm done talking. I gotta.
If you're a Trump supporter, do not watch this video.
Don't watch it. Because obviously kids aren't important to you. If you want to be with Trumpkin, kids are not important.
My dad.
These kids are important to me and my husband.
Yeah.
Our older son,
Ah.
who's not here right now, he's with my husband. Somewheres. Anyways, this is live, and I hope whoever watches it, please subscribe to it. And also, Mariah started with Barbies too. If anybody knows somebody that can design like the Barbies to look like them,
Stop.
that would be cool.
Stop pushing me.
Or even do one for Mariah. I mean, me,
Smarter. This is
my husband, our older son.
and this is
You know, we like
smarter.
LOL dolls, and she likes baby reborn dolls. She likes the baby alive dolls, you know. She likes those videos that people do. And him, he just watches videos of people doing stupid crap, which I do not approve of, because all those people on YouTube trying to do craziness and have kids do it, it's not right.
So.
No, don't cry.
Anyways,
Goodbye.
have a good day, and
Have a good day.
keep protesting against Trump,
Thanks
and
for
don't stop.
watching.
Don't.
Yeah, bye.
Bye. Thanks for watching.
Goodbye.
Thanks
Peace
for
out.
Peace
Peace out.
out.